friends, we are back to YouTube channel Concept Matters. Today our topic is the United Nations. The United Nations is an important topic for history, for civics of class 8. The first question which comes from the topic in our minds is what is the UN? The UN, which we call the United Nations in short form, is an international organization founded in 1945. Currently, UN is made up of 193 member states, and the UN and its work guided by the purposes and principles contained in its founding charter. At first, leave everything. At first, we have to think of the word United Nations. So, what does the word United Nations mean? So, it means unity of the member states. So, it is a place. It is an organization where all the member states representatives are sent. They meet with each other. They talk with each other, discuss their problems, and find some shared solutions that will benefit each other. So currently there are how many member nations? So there are 193 member nations in UN. Do you know there's an UN Charter? So what does UN Charter is? So before explaining what is the UN Charter, I am at first explaining you that I am giving an example. In India, the constitution is there, as you all know. So the Indian constitution is same as the UN Charter. The Indian Constitution contains all the purposes, guidelines, rights, duties, principles of our country. Similarly, the UN Founding Charter contains all the purposes, principles of the United Nations. It is just the same. So, India's United Nations Charter, the purposes and principles of UN is noted down. Now, there's a big story how the United Nations was formed. There's a big story. So, the world witnessed two world wars in 20th century. Both are very horrific, and we all know what does a war mean. So whenever any war happens, there's a huge impact on the member nations participating in that war. What happens actually? So many people get killed in the war. That's the first bad impact, first grateful impact you can say. The second bad impact, which is that the member nations participating in that war are badly affected. Slavery is also happening because of war. So slavery was also a dangerous impact of war. And the economic condition, the funding, the bank condition, the condition of the local people, and everything gets wasted. And you know, whenever any war happens, a very bad impact which happens is the thievery, robbery. Many thieves, robbers, they try to attack others' house and try to capture things because the country is suffering from an economic problem. Is happening now. Though it's not a war, but it's COVID-19 at this moment. So try to understand the similar situation same as it. These were the world wars. They're very horrific. They're very dangerous. So there were two world wars fought in the 20th century. The first world war between 1914 and 1918, and the second world war between 1939 and 1945. So the first world war was mainly fought between the Allies, that is France, Russia, Britain, and USA, and Austria, Hungary, and Germany. So after the First World War, it's 1918 when it ended, just a year after 1919, the League of Nations was formed. The League of Nations is just similar to the United Nations, just same. So it was also formed just like the UN with a perspective to stop the prevent of any further war. But no, it couldn't. The Second World War happened just after 20 years of the League of Nations formation, that is 1939. So from 1939 to 1945, there was the outbreak of the Second World War, fought between the Axis powers and Allies powers. Allies power means France, Britain, Russia, and the Axis powers means Germany, Japan, Italy, these all. Now, just after the Second World War ended, all the member nations gathered together. They were determined to find out a solution to this war. And at the end of their meeting, at the end of their communication, they decided to call another League of Nations, United States. So just like the League of Nations, same thing. But the name is not League of Nations, the name is United Nations. So the United Nations was mainly formed with the mutual perspective of preventing any further wars, which the United Nations has done successfully over the years. Now, there are various aims of the United Nations. Now, before coming to the aims, let's talk about few interesting facts of the formation of UN. The name the United Nations was first coined by the US President Franklin D. Roosevelt. We all know him, Franklin D. Roosevelt. He was the famous US President. So this US President Franklin D. Roosevelt coined the term United Nations. It was first used on 1st January 1942. Okay. The UN Charter which I told you just before, that which is compared to being the Indian Constitution, it was drawn up by the representatives of 50 countries in San Francisco between 25th April and 26 June 1945. The charter was signed on 26 June 1945. The United Nations officially came into existence on 24th October 1945. Today, the United Nations consists of 193 member nations. So understand, when the UN was formed in 1945, at that time there were 50 member states. And now, at present, there are 193 member states. So that proves that many nations joined the United Nations in these 78 years. The official language of UN is Arabic, Chinese, English, Russian and Spanish. So till now, keep in mind, there is no Indian language like Hindi or Bengali used in UN, because India is still not a permanent member of the Security Council of UN. So still now, India's languages are not used in UN. The headquarters of UN located in New York City. Remember these all. Now, just I was going to tell what are the aims of the United Nations. So just before the previous slide, I've told the main perspective of the United Nations was to prevent wars, maintain international peace and security, and develop the friendly relations among nations. This is the main perspective. So there are other perspectives also, like we achieve the international cooperation in solving economic problems, social problems, cultural problems, humanitarian problems. So, there's a branch of UN, ECOSOC. So just after this, after I guess 2 slides, we get to see the chart. It's a beautiful chart, a tree chart, which shows that there are 6 to 7 branches of UN. Okay. So there are branches the ECOSOC. So this ECOSOC branch is responsible for achieving the international cooperation in solving economic problems, social problems, cultural problems, and etc. etc. One more aim is that to promote respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms. And one more aim is that to coordinate the action of nations for achieving their common aims. Here, for the last point, I want to give you a fact. I want to give you a information. What is information? That I don't know whether you all know this or not, but it's very important to remember that the Constitution of India states that the United Nations will not interfere in any internal affairs of India. Okay, it is correct, but remember, the United Nations can cooperate with our Prime Minister. The UN can give some ideas to our Prime Minister or to the head of the nations that to coordinate the actions of, because see, the main achievement of the world is to promote unity, and that's why the UN was created, to promote unity. So the UN in that right, UN can interfere sometimes in these nations' common aims, in these nations' internal affairs. So, but it's wise to remember that the Indian Constitution states that Union has no right to enter in India's internal matters. Okay, so whatever may be. So now we'll come to the main organs of the United Nations. As I told you, there are 6 organs. That is the General Assembly, Secretary General, Economic and Social Council, the Secretariat, the International Court of Justice, and the Trusteeship Council. Now the last PPTX you can say principal organs of the United Nations. Just now I told you this one, the tree chart. Please, I request every one of you, please take a screenshot of this page. It's a very important page and it's represented very nicely. That there are 6 organs: the General Assembly, Security Council, Secretariat, ECOSOC, which I told just now, ECOSOC, Trusteeship Council, and International Court of Justice. We'll discuss about them in details in our next video. Thank you. But before ending my video, I want to give you a short information that there is an official Discord server created. Okay, so I request you, please join the Discord server and please communicate with us, chat with us, share our doubts, share our mistakes which we make in our video. If we make so, please talk with us. Please come in the Discord server. The Discord server link is given in description. So please click on it and join our Discord server. Before ending my video, I want to give a question which is displayed on your screen. Who is the Secretary General of UN? Option A, Barack Obama, or option B, Antonio Guterres, or option C, Don Bradman. Please comment your answer and also please join our Discord server and write the answer in our Discord server's feedback portion. Thank you. Have a nice day and we'll upload our next video very soon. Thank you.